Clear thinking. It's not some magic gift you're born with. It's actually more like a superpower you can build. And it's not about being a genius either. It's really just about having the right mental tools. So, today, we're going to break down the 5 essential habits that can help you get there.
Have you ever been in a meeting or even just a conversation with someone who just cuts right through all the noise? You know the type. They don't say a lot, but when they do, boom, it's just so logical, so powerful. It really makes you stop and wonder, right? How do they do that? Why do some people seem to think with such incredible clarity? Well, the easy answer, the one we all kind of jump to, is that they were just born with a superior brain or something. But you know what? Psychology tells us that's pretty much a myth. Real high-level thinking, it's not just about what you're born with. It's all about what you build. Yeah, it's so easy to just chalk it up to genetics or a high IQ. But the research, it points to a totally different truth. Clear thinking is a skill, and it's shaped by the mental habits you practice every single day. Think of it this way. It's not the hardware of your brain that matters most. It's the software, the programs you're running on it day in and day out. Okay, so let's get into it. The very first habit is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. And it's this: learning to think about your own thinking. Now, there's a formal term for this. It's called metacognition. I know, it sounds super academic and complex, but it's really not. It's just a fancy way of saying you become an observer of your own mind. So instead of just, accepting your first instinct as the absolute truth, you learn to step back and look at it from a distance. So what does that look like in practice? Well, it means you're constantly running a little diagnostic on yourself. Clear thinkers are always asking themselves these tough questions to challenge their own assumptions. Why? Because it helps them sidestep all those common mental traps, like confirmation bias. That thing we all do where we only look for evidence that supports what we already believe.
All right, moving on to habit number 2. This one is all about emotional regulation. And it really comes down to one simple, powerful idea: mastering the pause.
Think about it. Most of us, we get hit with a trigger, some bad news, a heated argument, and we just react. Instantly. It's pure impulse. But the clear thinker, they do something different. They create a deliberate gap, a pause. And that pause, that brief moment of silence, that's where the magic happens. It's like you're stopping emotion from yanking the steering wheel and giving logic a chance to actually grab it and take control. Okay, habit number 3. This is a real hallmark of a sharp mind. It's the willingness to update your beliefs. There's a name for it in psychology. They call it cognitive flexibility. And this really boils down to 2 very different mindsets. On one hand, you have the rigid thinker. For them, changing their mind feels like a personal failure, right? It's a blow to the ego, so they just cling to their old ideas. But then you have the flexible thinker. They see adapting to new information as a sign of strength. See the difference? Their goal isn't to win the argument. It's to be on the side of what's actually true. All right, our 4th habit. This one involves a really fundamental shift in how you see the world. It's all about moving away from thinking in absolutes and instead learning to think in probabilities. Listen closely to a truly clear thinker, and you'll notice something. You will almost never hear them use words like always or never. And why is that? It's because they get that life and all the problems in it are rarely that black and white. Using these absolute words, it just shuts our minds down to all the nuance and possibilities. So what's the alternative? Well, they just ask better questions. They start to think more like a forecaster, right? They look at the world in terms of likelihoods, asking simple questions like, how likely is this outcome? Or, and this is a big one, what are the odds that I'm actually mistaken here? This simple shift keeps them mentally agile and leads to way more balanced and accurate judgments. Okay, we're at our final habit, number 5. And this one might be the most practical of them all: protecting your mental energy. See, clear thinkers know that their brain power is a finite resource. It runs out. And because of that, they guard it fiercely. And it's so vital to guard it. For most of us, a huge chunk of our daily brain power just gets drained, sucked away by thousands of tiny, completely unimportant decisions. What am I going to wear? What should I eat for lunch? What should I click on next? It all adds up, and it leads to something called cognitive overload. And what's left over? Just a tiny sliver of mental energy for the big problems that actually matter. So what's the solution? It's actually pretty simple. Simplify. Clear thinkers actively limit their daily choices by creating routines.
I mean, think of Steve Jobs in his iconic black turtleneck, right? By automating all that boring small stuff, they conserve that precious analytical power for the complex challenges that truly require their attention. So, as we start to wrap this up, the most important thing to remember is this. You are not stuck with the way your mind works right now. This isn't permanent. Clear thinking is absolutely a trainable skill.
So, let's do a quick recap. The 5 habits that separate clear thinkers from the crowd are 1. Think about your thinking. That's metacognition. 2. Master the pause, emotional regulation. 3. Update your beliefs. Be flexible. 4. Think in probabilities, not absolutes. And 5. Protect your mental energy.
And the benefit of actually practicing these habits? It's profound. The source material for this puts it so well. You stop just reacting to life and start truly understanding it. It's a huge shift from being just a passenger in your own mind to actually being the pilot.
And that brings us to the final question. And this one is really for you to take with you. You know, these habits, they're simple to understand, but they do require conscious effort to build. So the real question is, are you ready to stop just reacting and start questioning your own thinking?